Garry Matlock is a hard-working and dedicated community football man. 49 plus years, a lifelong service and dedication to the Bentleigh Football Club. Some great successes along the way. Join us to meet the newest inductee to the SFNL Hall of Fame, Mr. Garry Matlock. Garry Matlock, thanks for giving us up some of your time tonight.
Pleasure, Ian.
You've been involved with Bentleigh Footy Club for a very, very long time.
Yes, that's correct.
But starting initially as a junior footballer?
Yes, started in the with Bentleigh in the Bentleigh McKinnon Youth Centre and played under 13s and under 15 football, and that's where the competitive football finished for a while. My father had a small business in East Bentleigh opposite the Boundary Hotel. There was a servo there, and he said to me, look, there's a job going there Saturday mornings from 7 o'clock in the morning till 1:30, and you were doing that. So 5 shillings an hour, which equates to 50 cents. Yeah. And I didn't play competitive football apart from at high school. And then when I went to Teachers College, I played in the college football team. Not the first year, there were too many good league footballers playing in that comp at that stage. Mm-hmm. Brian Quirk and Adrian Gallagher and you name Peter McKenna. And and then played the college football, and once I came out of that, started competitive football in 1968 with Bentleigh Methodists as they were. I'd actually signed with Hyatt YCW, had a couple of friends there, and I did some training there, and a couple of mates said there's a pie night going on up at this Bentleigh club, and I thought, well, that sounds terrific, pie and a beer or something like that. And when I got there, I found out it was a Methodist club. But look, the reason I went there is the reason a lot of people play football or play sports. You play with your mates, you play with your friends, and I've basically been there. Yes, I've been there ever since.
Yeah, long association from 1968. It's a very, very long time. And in the year you turned 21, you started playing a lot of other guys in the team, finished part of a premiership side in your first year, is that right?
Very first year. Unbelievable. We played Mont Albert in the second semi-final, got beaten by 5 goals. I was a half-forward flanker. And the captain coach, ex-Northcote and Carlton footballer, bloke by the name of Jeff Mason. Lovely man, but had white line fever and always got sent off by the umpires. And the centre-half forward for Mont Albert was the competition best and fairest winner. And next week in the prelim I played centre-half back, because I'd done that a few times during the year. And I got to play on this bloke in the grand final, which I wasn't looking forward to, because he was a smaller type player and they tend to run around, and being large in those days. But we turned the results, and our full forward Bruce Aiken kicked 11 goals from full forward, and centre-half forward kicked 7, so it didn't get down my end too much, thankfully. And we won by 16 goals. Yeah. And first year, and I thought to myself, how good's this, how easy is that? Bentleigh never won a senior premiership again until 1990.
A long time.
We're going to get
to 1990 a little later on, but for you, 283 games for Bentleigh, 315 goals.
Yes. Quite
tall for a half-forward flanker at a premiership side. How would you describe yourself as a footballer?
To quote the legend Jack Dyer, I was a good ordinary footballer. I suppose I was a coach's player because I did what I was told. Mm-hmm. No, I did my job. Most of my senior career was as a centre-half back. I played in 2 grand finals at centre-half back, one winning, one losing, another final series at centre-half back. I played my first A-grade game with Bentleigh at full forward, but we won't talk about that. I was in the seconds the next week.
Okay. I note with interest too that you've, at the age of 50, made a bit of a comeback for Bentleigh on a certain occasion against Mount Waverley.
Yes, well, we were a little bit short, which happened in the middle years of Southern. We had a pretty good senior side, competitive, and struggling for numbers a little bit. And I'd been doing a bit of running, and I thought to myself, my whole career had been in the ESCFA, and had to get one Southern game up. And well, if they were doing the stats like they did today, it would have read 0, 0, 0.
Plenty of zeros.
The head was saying do this, but the body wouldn't do that. But look, it was enjoyable, and I did enjoy it. But
not many 50-year-olds running around doing that today.
No,
so,
thankfully.
You did a few awards during your playing career. Most consistent, of course, played in a number of grand finals as well. What's your greatest memory of life as a player?
The first grand final, was just something absolutely special. As I said, I was 20 and I turned 21. Bruce, who played at full forward, was 19. The centre half forward, John Lilly, was 19. The number one ruckman, John Delaney, was 17. The centreman, Kim Gosney, was 18 and a half. A lot of us had been to school and knew, all young. And then there was the other end of the scale, the older set. So this group of really young people had a ball, and winning a grand final was something special. I'm a South Melbourne supporter, so we'd never won anything. So that was something that was special.
Pretty thrilling stuff.
But the 2013 Southern Football League was, Southern Football League, wasn't the Netball League there. That was extra special.
With Division 2, just a
Division
couple of years
2,
All right. We'll probably talk about your role as an administrator at Bentleigh Footy Club as well, because I think that's key to. It's a key element of the entire history of the thing. But you've got a background, I think, as a school principal.
Yeah, 14 years I was a school principal, and probably another 5 as a deputy principal, vice principal.
So what sort of skills do you bring from that into the role of president, and where are the similarities?
Yeah, well, in later life, I started teaching in 1969, and it was a different type of teaching than it is now, and principals were different in those days too. Now you become more of an administrator. You have to learn a skill set. Interpersonal skills were really important, planning really important, especially forward planning and strategic planning. So when I was first president at Bentleigh, and that was in 1980, and I was 32 and I was still playing in the seniors, I'm not saying it was easy, but it was nowhere near as complex as when I became president the second time. And so, we introduced role descriptions for everyone in the club, for the coaching panels and every committee one, so everyone knew what everyone was doing.
Sure.
And program budgeting, in other words, instead of just developing a budget, we'd have a budget for junior liaison, a budget for this and so on, which involved groups getting together, having meetings and planning and all that type of stuff. So you weren't just spending money, you had to have a reason to spend the money, and then you evaluated once you'd down the track the year had gone, so you knew, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and so on.
So strict commercial principles are coming out of your commercial life, your work life, that you applied at a football club that saw a great deal of success. So I noticed that you've dropped in and out of the president's role a couple of times.
Yes.
What brings you back to it every time?
Well, the last time, about 2007, going and watching a few games. I hadn't had a great involvement in the club, mainly watching. I didn't have any official position apart from the odd bits and pieces, and the club was in a bit of trouble in the amateurs, financial trouble, infighting and all of that type of stuff. And they had a meeting, a sort of a public meeting, get all the old past players back and wanting to get behind the president, who was a new president, and there was another ticket wanting to get up and get rid of the under-19s and things like that, which I believe was fatal. So I went along, and I was one of the ones that put their hand up to help out. And when it came to the annual meeting, I think I was the only one that turned up, and I became the secretary first year back. And at the end of that year, the new president, as he was, just work commitments, and Paul DiMattina, Coffee Paul, as distinct from Restaurant Paul, the coach, spoke to me, and I had the time, retired, and I got back involved with a mission. The club was a lot of money still in debt from its days in Southern. There were things wrong that needed to be fixed, and I believed I had the skills to attract a few people to be involved. And I knew from day one, because we played a practice match against Black Rock, still in the MOs. This bloke who came up to me, I didn't know his name, but his name was Dave Andrews. He introduced himself from Southern Football League. All the other guys that were around me on the committee just went like that. Why did you guys leave? Are you ever going to come back? And from that day, I was determined that the club had to get back to Southern Football League to survive. It was where it belonged, and I worked hard to make sure that happened.
Yeah, good.
It's a decision I will never regret.
Oh, look, my experiences with Garry go back for the best part of 30 years. He's an amazing person. He's a great administrator. He's incredibly diligent, and He's so loyal to his football club and to his family and friends, and what he's given over the journey has been absolutely immense. His service to our club and to the community football, and not just football, he's been involved with all his daughter's netball teams, principal of a primary school for many, many years. Garry has been one of the great community servants of our time, and we're very, 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 very lucky at the Bentleigh Football Club to have had Garry involved for that period.
I want to just backtrack a little bit.
Yes.
Still part of your presidency. 1990 is a special year for the Bentleigh Football Club.
Yes.
2 premierships.
Dual premiership against Richmond Amateurs, Richmond Central, or whatever they were called then. Big win in the seconds, big win in the seniors. Lost the second semi against Richmond. Had to play a team called Collingwood Districts. In the preliminary final, they were well known for their ability on and off the field.
Yep.
Been a bogey of ours. We won that and got to the grand final, and we won the grand final. That side was made up of a lot of famous names from southern days, Con Gorozides and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But we had the nucleus of the team was our 1988 under-18 premiership team. And a lot of those players, quite a lot of them went on to be, one became captain coach of the club, 300 game player. And it was a long time between drinks. Bentleigh had played in a lot of grand finals and lost them from 3 points. I played in one where we lost by a goal, and they're heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it was a special year, lots of celebrations, and got the club back into A grade.
Mm-hmm.
And we finished in A grade about 5th the next couple of years. St Paul's, I think, were about one ahead of us, and we were both drafted in the merger, and we were right behind the merger.
Mm-hmm.
We'd actually, well, some of us actually spoken
This
to
is the merger of
the 2 leagues,
yeah.
SFL or
Mm-hmm.
what they're called, and the churches.
Mm-hmm.
And we were right behind that, and we got put in the Premier Division, which was a bit of a shock, because I'd been to the grand final the year before and seen Netball place out in Melbourne Districts or someone. I thought, oh my God, we're never going to be able to compete against that.
Right.
But we did.
But you did, yeah.
We did.
Okay, very good. So that's the great memory. So let's move forward a little bit to more recent times. You touched on it before, the premiership upon your return to the Southern Football
Yes.
League. A few years back now, Division 2 premiership saw you promoted to Division 1.
Yes.
Special day.
Oh, fantastic day.
And a close game for it.
Great game. Believe it or not, I watched the DVD of it yesterday.
Did you?
Just as a refresher, and just looking to see for some picks and stuff like that. There was only a minute or 2 to go, and the scores were
Yes.
level.
Yeah, that's right.
A centre bounce, the ball could have gone either way.
Mm.
And we got a goal. James Robertson, the old man of the team, kicked a goal, and Scott Laurie flashed out of the centre. We won the game. It was just unbelievable. A great feeling, because we always wanted to try and get back into First Division.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no disrespect to Second Division. There's some great sides in Second Division. In fact, we nearly got there our first year back. We played Hyatt in the grand final. And luckily we lost that. Even though if we had have won, we
What
would
do you
have...
say, luckily?
We weren't ready.
Yeah.
Administratively, off the field's just as important as on the field. We had a bit of luck in the final series. Springvale were a great side that year. They lost both their finals.
Mm.
We went a bit off centre in one of their games, which cost them a few 50 metres.
Mm.
We really weren't ready, but given the Caulfield scenario of a few years ago, when the opportunity comes, you've got to take it.
Yeah,
you may never get the time. My wife said to me, you know, what happens if you win? Because Southern had said to us, look, you know, if you happen to be successful, you don't have to go up, or we'll help you out. My wife said, you may never, would you like to be the president that got up and said to the players, we're not going up?
Mm.
No way, no.
Mm.
But we didn't win, and Hyatt deserved their win, but look what happened to them the next year. They weren't ready either.
Mm.
It's a big jump into First Division.
It sure is. It's perhaps that that gap has narrowed somewhat in recent years.
Well, Morty showed that.
Yeah, and Bentleigh, of course, right now very successful in the Premier Division, quite high up on the ladder, and,
Yes.
and this season promises to be a good one.
His greatest legacy is that he's left the Bentleigh Football Club in a terrific position. When you consider that he was first there in the late 60s, and nearly 50 years later he's still contributing.
Your role as president ended in 2015. So what are you doing this year? Do you still get down and watch them play?
Yes. I've got a few roles. I wasn't supposed to have many really, but I'm the compliance officer of the football club. In other words, what does that mean? It means I apply for the grant, I apply for the licences, the good sport, all of those things,
Yep.
because I used to do that as president and to help Dimmer out. Dimmer's very entrepreneurial, but his bookwork is, well, we won't even talk about his bookwork. So I've got that role,
Sure.
and I can do that away from the club. We've got a coterie group called the Dragon Club, and it's just not a fundraising group. It helps out with charities and all sorts of things. And because Dimmer became president of the club and he was chairperson of that, Brett Marshall stepped up and I'm the secretary of that. And a role that I suggested to the club is that I'm the Bentleigh Football Community Ambassador. And that involves liaising with the league, liaising with the council, Auskick, Bentleigh Juniors, the local schools. My daughter, one of my daughters, my eldest daughter, is the girls Auskick coach. I go to Auskick every week. We've got a number of players that go down there. I go to the juniors meetings. As an ex-school teacher and football coach and all of that, I love junior sport and I really enjoy that. And one of the reasons Bentleigh's successful at the moment is, I would say at least 2/3 of the players in our club, if not more, are ex-under-19s. And many of those are ex-Bentleigh juniors. The captain, Scotty Laurie, is an ex-Oz kicker all the way through the juniors.
Fantastic.
All the way. It's the only way to go. We've decided that we must grow from within. There are clubs who don't need to be named that have chosen the other path, and that works short term, but you only have to look at the divisions 1 and 2 now, and it hasn't worked long term.
So long-term sustainability. And I
Long-term
guess
sustainability.
You're a man that's been around with the Bentleigh Footy Club for 49 years, so if anybody can talk about long-term sustainability as you.
I grew up in the area. I grew up in Moorabbin. So
Yeah, local man.
local, yep.
Yeah. So I guess when you've done all that, what is there to do next?
What is there to do next?
What drives you now to go forward? There's all these little jobs in the football club. Is there?
I have
something
3
at home?
grandchildren.
Do you want to travel? Being a grandfather?
Yeah, 3 grandchildren. 2 of them started at Auskick, 1 girl, 1 boy, and that's fantastic. Grandchildren are incredible. Of course, you can give them back. It's an old saying.
That's it.
And I've been doing a little bit of travel, but look, I'll still be around Bentleigh in some capacity or other. I think being around young people keeps you young. I'll have some form of commitment to something apart from my family, because my wife is so supportive. She's a life member, the only female life member. Bentleigh, ran the canteen, secretary, treasurer, you name it.
You strike me as that sort of person. You need to have something like that in your life, and a good citizen, it's a good lesson.
Anyone that's given 49 years service to their club and to football and to local community, I think speaks volumes for itself. And what he's done for our club in particular has been absolutely outstanding, and he's taken us to another level.
Well, the Hall of Fame looks at many things, one of which is longevity. He's displayed that, but probably more important, it's the quality of his contribution to not only Bentleigh, but also football in general. He is a person who is very level-headed and always looks at the bigger picture. And
just wanted to say congratulations
Thank you
on
very
the
much.
nomination to the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. 49 years contribution, 49 years plus really to the Bentleigh and the surrounding areas for junior football and senior football. It's an absolute credit to you. Congratulations and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Dean.
Well done,
Ian, I called you Dean there for a moment. Much appreciated. Look, just to finish finally, there's some tremendous people in the Southern Football Netball League. Belonging to a sporting club, I've made lifelong friends. And we've only been back in Southern a few years, but I've never met Stephen Barnes before Southern, but I now count him as a great friend. And a lot. They've just been so welcoming. It's a great camaraderie within the clubs and with this organisation. So I'm privileged to be part of it, and I'm just privileged to be nominated to be Hall of Fame for that.
Well, I'm very pleased you spent some time with us tonight.
Thank you, Ian.
Congratulations, well done. We'll see you in the footy.
Okay, thank you.